people say that my degree in musical theater is absolutely useless. So let's talk business real quick.
What's up if you graduated from uni 2 years ago and you still haven't utilized your degree once?
Getting a master's degree is a waste of time and a waste of money.
I just found out that my degree is useless. I got my master's in public health like 5 months ago. I don't even know, but apparently it don't even matter anymore. I think it's so interesting that the Department of Education specifically chose female fields. Like, let's call it what it is, female fields. Like, these types of degrees and master's degrees that mainly are dominated by women, which regardless, master's degrees, PhDs, these different fields are going to be more dominated by women as time goes on because more women are getting their degrees than men are. Let's be so for real. But I think it's very interesting the ones they chose, okay? Ones that are typically taken over by women and how this like converges with this new conservative idea of how like men in certain spaces and spheres think that, you know, education and careers are what's keeping women from having kids because the birth rate is at like a 1.3 right now. The thing is, if my degree's useless, then give me my money back, run me my check, because I pulled like the amount of loans you have to take out for these master's degrees is insane. It's robbery actually, especially if you have to move to a place, get an apartment, and like get a job and live there and do all this and that. But I think it's interesting that they're lowering the amount of money that you're gonna get in student loans, which means you're gonna more likely, you have to take out private loans to finish these degrees. You're not gonna be able to finish them with just the student loans, the federal loans you normally get, which means less people are gonna get these degrees. And also, if this degree is not considered a professional degree anymore under the Department of Education, certain jobs are gonna be like, we don't really care that you, like, they're not going to pay you more for the degree that you earned in this specific field. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could go and work in public health in anything. I don't need to have a degree to work in public health. However, getting a degree in public health will get me into certain positions that are specified to my actual, like, what I worked for, right? So I worked in policy and advocacy, and I wanted to do that. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's interesting because it's like, you want the people to have babies. You want the women to have babies, okay? Because you are tired of them going to school. But you will not provide them with any health insurance. You will not provide them with jobs to maintain these children because the men's jobs are not enough to maintain. People have to have 2 jobs in that household. Okay, in a cishet household, you have to have 2 to maintain those babies. You want us to, like, to go back to these old values. Like, what world are you living in if you think that taking the professional degree out, and also nurse practitioner, are we okay? Oh my gosh, what are y'all smoking? What is RFK smoking up in there? Like, taking that out, it's like, you think that this is gonna stop people from going to school? It's gonna stop a lot of people from going to school, I'm not gonna lie. But the carnage you're about to ensue, if you thought that I was insufferable, I've met more insufferable graduate students. You don't know who you're messing with.
Maybe it's just because I live in DC, but growing up, and especially now that I'm the grown-up myself, having heard people always speak on and make jokes about useless degrees, and then they would name something, at least in my mind, so general and needed, like communications, and history, and languages, and gender studies. Boo! How else do you think we have news outlets, or women's health researchers, or military linguists and translators, or museum curators, or ambassadors? You're choosing political science. Political science is useless. I live in the middle of politic town?
Hi, my name is Kayla. I'm graduating from NYU Gallatin, and my concentration is economic inequality in the U.S. and Caribbean.
Period.
Hey, my name is Naomi. I'm working out with you, and my concentration is spiritual healing.
Period.
Hi, my name is Eliel, and I concentrated in Black storytelling.
Hey, my name is Gabby. My concentration is called Exploring Colonialism and Sustainable Economic Development.
Period.
I'm Alexia, and my concentration is creativity as communication, how the arts act as a language outside of verbal communication, period.
Congratulations, you are studying the most pointless university degree ever. I mean, what are you going to do with that? I hope you don't think you're going to get a job, because I've got news for you. Be honest with me, did you just do it for the freshers? Did you just do it for the student loan? Tell me now.
The federal government just decided that if your college degree doesn't earn more than a high school diploma, your program doesn't deserve funding anymore. Starting this summer, entire college programs could lose student loans, Pell Grants, and federal support if their graduates don't clear an earnings bar set by the government. What does that mean? If your degree doesn't make enough money fast enough, Washington says it's worthless. History, literature, fine arts, social sciences, ethnic and gender studies, all on the chopping block. And keep this in mind, this doesn't fix tuition, it doesn't lower student debt, it doesn't stop colleges from overcharging, it just punishes students after they've already enrolled. If you come from money, this barely touches you. If you rely on Pell Grants to survive college, your options just vanished. Supporters call it a return on investment, but education is not a stock portfolio. Some programs take people from poverty to stability, not to six figures. Some degrees don't pay well at 22, but matter for society at 40. And now the government gets to decide what knowledge is worth it. This is about shrinking education into job training and letting anything else die. So ask yourself, if only high-paying degrees survive, who gets educated and who gets locked?
On this edition of FAFO, titled I Voted for You and I Thought My Career Was Safe. So the Department of Education has done a reclassification of certain degrees that are now deemed non-professional, meaning that certain fields that were previously considered professional will no longer qualify for the higher federal student loan limits needed for graduate school as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill that was signed into legislation recently. And the following careers include nursing, physician assistants, physical therapists, audiologists, architects, accountants, educators, social workers, engineering, business master programs, counseling or therapy, and speech pathology. And in response to this, Wendy Brinley Hines wrote this on the White House Facebook page, saying, "Please remove the limitations of professions. As a professional nurse who has her master's degree, and as someone who voted each time for you, I cannot believe that you would disrespect our profession." Additionally, our middle daughter will graduate as a physical therapist in 1 month, and our youngest is planning on becoming a physician's assistant, all of which take care of patients on a daily basis. Grad school is very expensive. Trust me, I know. I have paid my way myself for each level of education. Please reconsider your thoughts on this bill. We all need professional staff that can afford education in their effort to care for our nation. Oh, Wendy, you have a master's degree, yet you voted for him yet again. Because that sounds like a very uneducated decision on your part 3 times. And I genuinely do feel bad for those that did not vote for him who are actually trying to pursue careers in these fields. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there's a section in Project 2025 that wants to shrink the healthcare system as much as possible. Because some people out there think healthcare should be a privilege and not a right. And Wendy, if you do see this, I genuinely hope that you have the day that you voted for. Because this decision is genuinely screwing a lot of people over.
So I got a bachelor's in physics, and let me tell you why it is pretty stupid. So the actual degree is pretty hard, and there's smart people in your classes. You're learning crazy stuff like classical dynamics and electromagnetism and stuff that doesn't even make sense sometimes. You're thinking electric fields, voltage, magnetic fields, currents. Then you go into quantum and you're like, bro, what am I even learning? And that's the thing. What am I learning? How does this help me in the real world? And unfortunately, I don't think it does. I know a couple people in my shoes. We graduated with a physics degree. We got out. We thought the job search would be easy. We'd be able to find a job, I don't know, NASA, the local electric company, something that involves physics. But no, dude. They don't really want you at the bachelor's level. If you really are really passionate about it, you can go get a PhD and maybe you could be a researcher, but it's not useful. So what is useful is getting an engineering degree if you like physics, okay? And you actually technically, let's say you already graduated, you got that bachelor's in physics, study for the EIT and take that. Because as soon as you have that EIT, it's like a engineer and training certificate from your local state's board. And I think it's a national one too. So actually, scratch that. It might be a national level certification. You can get entry-level engineering jobs, okay? So anyone out there who's like, oh, I love physics, I'm not going to stop you from being the next Stephen Hawking or Neil Tyson deGrasse, right? But if you don't want to do 10 years of schooling and you don't want to be the cutting edge, like the brain wizard scientist guy discovering black holes and new muons and particles, go to engineering, man. Think of it as some advice from your older brother.
A lot of people say that my degree in musical theater is absolutely useless. So let's talk business real quick. You are not special by having a business degree. When you walk into a job interview and you say that you have a business degree from this random college that you went to, they're gonna look at it and be like, okay, we don't care. Everyone else in that room has a business degree. Say I walk into that interview and I have my musical theater degree, a bunch of business certifications, actual proof that I'm good at marketing, that I'm good at finance because of my stock portfolio, because of all the things that I've done. Who do you think that they're gonna hire? The person who's the exact same as every other candidate that's walking into the job, or someone who is a breath of fresh air, actually knows what the heck I'm talking about because I didn't just use ChatGPT. Who stands out in that job interview process?
Here's why I'm going to quit computer science and go be a bouncer. So when I was a bouncer when I was 18, it was literally the best fun of my life, right? Like literally you just get up, get dressed like you were going to a party, right? And then you'd stand there, you just have to watch shit, you know, you'd be in a position of authority, you know, and girls would come up to you and you would still talk to them, get the snaps, Instagrams, the numbers. And it was just overall just a really good job, you know, and I was really happy and I got paid really good for it, right? And, you know, I trained a lot of martial arts, so it's right up my alley. So basically I'm quitting CS, I'm done gesturing, trying to look for a job to get paid scraps, and I can get paid the same amount being a bouncer, being around women, being around the club scene. Just seems.
So I studied about 9 years, got my first in computer super science, and then studied another 9 years to get my master's. I can design, I can build you an app. Build me an app right now. Okay. What kind of app? What are you selling? Sell me this pen. Sure. I mean, I'm gonna need a few days. I need a laptop. I need a code editor. I need the motherboard, a code switch. Yo, Emergent. Build me an app that sells pens like the one in the picture I just sent you. While you're busy setting up your workspace, I'm already selling the product. We've got a black one, we've got a navy one, we've got a red one as well. So, besides your degree that expired before you even started studying for it, have you got any practical experience I can work with? I got a bronze award in DOV.
Nah, I need this job, bro.
Get this guy out,
I'll do
man.
anything. What about the floors? Somebody's got to sweep the floors.
I need someone with a hustler mindset, not a butler mindset. Hi, my name is Rick Sorkin. I'm here for the interview.
Do you know that 60% of the people that apply to medical school don't get in? So the most useless degree to do for pre-med is what? Biology. Or else you set out to be a biologist. You set out to be a biology teacher, biology professor. Please, for the love of God and everything holy, do not do biology as pre-med, because if you don't get into medical school, you will either be a CNA or a unit secretary, jobless, or work in Walmart. Pick a struggle. As usual, people are going to argue with me in the comment section. Oh, you can work pharmaceutical sale, you can work research. Yet, a lot of biology graduates don't do anything with their degree. They are either CNAs or going back to school to get nursing degree. This is not the time to play around. Just in case you don't make it to medical school, you can have a backup plan. These are the programs you can look into in no particular order. Number 1, medical lab science. Medical lab science is a very good career, good projection, good pay. Number 2, you can look into bachelor's in genetic science and genomics. You know, people that do with DNA and be testing genetic problems. They pay them good money. Starting rate can go as high as $80,000. Number 3, do you know that universities like Ohio State University, they offer bachelor's in respiratory therapy? Just in case you don't make it to medical school, you can fall back and be a respiratory therapist while you wait to get admission into medical school. If you love biology so much, you can do bachelor's in cancer and molecular biology. They have so many opportunities in cancer research. If you want to flex, you can do bachelor's degree in nursing. You can be a nurse. Then you can decide if you want to go to medical school, take a break. Amazing balls. Yes, these programs may not cover all the needed science prerequisite for medical school. That's why we have summer. You don't even need a science background to be a doctor. Pre-med can be in theater art, music, anthropology, Go dancing, provided you meet the required science prerequisite. That's all. Forward this to family and friends, to the parents, so that they can better guide their high schoolers, okay? Goodbye.
I just graduated from the #1 business school in the world with a marketing degree, and I can confidently say that this is the most useless degree you can get. And this is for two primary reasons. One, you are paying for knowledge that you are not going to remember. None of the theory is going to stay in your head, and it's just going to be a waste of time. And two, you do not learn marketing in a classroom. You learn by actually doing it, by posting online, by writing a blog or doing something. And as someone who has gone through this process, gotten multiple six-figure job offers in marketing, the marketing degree that I have now is not the reason why I have any of those jobs. And I know for a fact all you motherfuckers who already got your marketing degree are probably coping, thinking like, yo, my degree is not useless. Like, what is this guy talking about? Like bro, I'm sorry to tell you, like, your degree is useless. I've accepted mine was useless and it's chill. And if you're still in college, there's still time to change. In college, you should be touching. College is a time for you to explore those things that you will never explore again in the future. And marketing is probably the biggest waste of time that you can be doing. Trust me, if you follow this account, you will learn how to market and you will not need that marketing degree. This account will be your marketing degree. So just trust me, switch out of your major right now. This is day 2 of trying to become the greatest marketer in the world. And I am super pumped to give you more wisdom in the future. Peace out, dogs.
In the past year or two, I've been seeing a ton of content on YouTube and TikTok saying that a computer science degree is useless. And look, I actually agree with one thing. The market has gotten tougher for new grads, especially with everything changing so fast because of AI. But what I really don't like is actually who is actually saying this. Almost every time I see one of these videos, the first thing I do is check the creator's background. So their LinkedIn, their GitHub, their resume. And most of the time, there's almost nothing there. They have no projects, no internships, no work to show. And that's why I hate this type of content. Not because the market isn't hard, but because it's coming from people who did not even try in the first place before declaring the whole degree useless. That kind of content creates unnecessary stress for students who are genuinely building and improving. So here's my tip for you. Before you buy anyone's opinion, go check their background, including mine. Look at what they have actually built, look at what they have done, and if you still feel uncertainty, feel free to skip them. Consuming less ideas and opinions in this current world is actually not bad, maybe even beneficial.
What's the most useless degree? I think it has to be business, because business you learn by practice, not just theory, I guess.
Communications. Everyone can talk. You don't need a degree to learn how to talk.
Political sciences.
Overall?
Yeah.
Arts degree.
Arts degree.
Arts? Fashion. Human resources. Do you see everyone getting employed?
No.
Exactly.
Gender studies.
Political science, international development, anything in that field.
Communications.
Engineering.
Why?
Because I'm an engineer.
Arts?
Arts?
I'm in arts. I love you arts majors, but art.
It's history. History is the most useless degree. You're either going to become a history teacher or a history professor, making more people study history. So it's like a pyramid scheme.
General business.
All of them. The most important thing is taqwa and tamjid.
The federal government just decided that if your college degree doesn't earn more than a high school diploma, your program doesn't deserve funding anymore. Starting this summer, entire college programs could lose student loans, Pell Grants, and federal support if their graduates don't clear an earnings bar set by the government. What does that mean? If your degree doesn't make enough money fast enough, Washington says it's worthless. History, literature, fine arts, social sciences, ethnic and gender studies, all on the chopping block. And keep this in mind. This doesn't fix tuition, it doesn't lower student debt, it doesn't stop colleges from overcharging, it just punishes students after they've already enrolled. If you come from money, this barely touches you. If you rely on Pell Grants to survive college, your options just vanished. Supporters call it a return on investment, but education is not a stock portfolio. Some programs take people from poverty to stability, not to 6 figures. Some degrees don't pay well at 22, but matter for society at 40. And now the government gets to decide what knowledge is worth it. This is about shrinking education into job training and letting anything else die. So ask yourself, if only high-paying degrees survive, who gets educated and who gets locked out?
Hands up if you graduated from uni 2 years ago and you still haven't utilized your degree once. Keep your hands up if you graduated from uni at any point in the past and you're still unemployed. My hand remains in the air. My hand will constantly remain in the air no matter what question you throw. Now, I'm only referring to business degrees, accounting and finance degrees, management degrees, sports degrees, art degrees, drama degrees. If you're a medical student, that's probably the one exception, because the borderline to enter and apply for those jobs is genuinely to have that certificate. Whereas for all these other jobs, you can just take a separate sub course and you can get your accounting and finance qualifications faster than someone who waited 3 years to do that. And it's done absolute niche for me. I graduated with accounting and finance in the summer of 2023. Why am I still unemployed? Yes, I've worked in jobs where the job description says you need a university degree or qualification. Why, when I enter that room at work, I'm seeing people who haven't got uni degrees? They're telling me, nah, I'm 21, I've not done uni. I didn't do uni, I just got a qualification elsewhere. Then I think, what's the clear difference between person A who went uni and person B who didn't go uni? Person A who went uni has 50k debt to think about that's going to haunt him for the rest of his life unless you hit the jackpot. Unless you hit the jackpot and you can just clear that, you will be haunted with that for the remainder of your life. Guys, if you're watching this video and you still haven't gone to uni, don't go to uni. Take this as your sign to just not go to uni. It's not worth it. Cool, if you're doing medical degrees or something with a bit more expertise, maybe. But on the occasion where you're doing a business degree, an accounting and finance degree, just go through the course. I promise you, you'll get there quicker, you'll learn more. It's sort of a straight line from A to B, to where you're trying to get to, whereas in uni you've got the distractions. The only exception in university where I think, okay, it might be worth it to a certain extent, is if you love the social aspect. If you love the social aspect of university, go ahead, by all means, go live out, go move to Nottingham, go move to Leicester. You've seen what's happened in Leicester as well. Don't get me started on uni accommodation and stuff, please. Do not go to university. It's a big fat no from ST Gone Global.
Top 10 most useless degrees. Number 10 is archaeology. You're not going to be no Indiana Jones, okay? Number 9 is film. Pick up a camera, you got one on your phone, start filming some shit, watch a bunch of movies, get it together. Like, you don't need to go to school for that. Number 8, history. If it's history, it's in the past. There ain't shit going on with it anymore. Number 7, travel and tourism. Why are you wasting your money learning about this shit and not just going out there and traveling? Number 6, liberal arts. What the fuck does that even mean, liberal arts? Number 5 is dance. Nobody needs to go to school for this. Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, they were all incredible dancers before they could even step foot in a college. They were the most famous dancers, period, in the world. Just start dancing. Number 4 is photography. This is kind of the same thing as film. Take your phone out, start taking pictures, don't waste your money. Number 3 is art. Need I say more? Especially art history. Like, that's fucking useless. Number 2 is theater.
You know what I find like super funny? I posted a TikTok being like, "Oh yeah, you and your computer science degree is fucking useless." Like, it's actually gotten to the point where yeah, it's pretty fucking bad for computer science majors out there. I can't find any software jobs to get you guys hired. Like a couple years ago, I could make a few referrals into some friends' companies and like y'all be chilling. But with the AI stuff going on, it's way easier for a senior engineer just to like vibe code it themselves and then do what they need to do. Like, that's where we're at, guys. Like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm a firm believer getting a degree in this generation is the new way to make yourself broke and poor. Let me explain. It's because, bro, listen to this. A degree max in this generation will pay you max $300K per year. That's without taxes, all that other stuff. You go to school for 12 years to be a doctor to get paid 10, 20K a month max. Bro, by the time you become a doctor, even right now, 10K is barely anything. Think about that right now. If you get an apartment, not even an expensive home, just a base model apartment, that's already 20% of it. Then, let's say you're already 34, so you have to worry about hecka bills, healthcare, you got wife and kids. You're left stuck saving $500 per month with a degree you thought would pay you a lot. and you're probably gonna get replaced by AI. And I would understand if this was like 1980, that was the only way. But bro, like I do MEO. It takes 1 to 2 hours per day. I don't need a degree. In fact, I'm probably dumber than you. I make around 200K per month. I got mentees that make a lot. There's people who do other businesses that make a lot, who never went to college. You're going to college to get a degree, to sign yourself up to be broke, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That's just my opinion.
When hearing the Trump administration decided that nursing degrees are no longer considered professional degrees, it may sound like a bad idea, but when you use your pink meat, you realize that not only are they protecting the taxpayer, but they're controlling the rise of tuition costs as well. Huh? The more financial aid is available, the higher colleges will raise their tuition, knowing that students can just borrow the bread to pay them. By putting a cap on the amount that a student can receive from a federal loan, it forces high-cost graduate programs, including advanced nursing degrees, by the way, to lower their operational cost and tuition to make it more accessible to students that rely on financial aid. Of course, media outlets are trying to make it seem as though Donald Trump doesn't care about nurses, when that's far from the case. All he's trying to do is to prevent them and many other Americans from accumulating a whole bunch of student debt for no damn reason. Although advanced nursing degrees often end in high-paying jobs, this policy simply makes sure that the debt-to-income ratio is reasonable. Common sense, gang. Keep it up, Donald Trump! Ow!
I'm Nicolina.
I'm Ella.
And today we're going to be discussing what we got out of our college degrees. I went to University of Delaware. I spent $20,000 a year for a 4-year degree. And I developed a severe drinking problem.
I'm Ella. I went to Mercer County Community College for 2 years, spent $11,000, and came out with, or just experienced some depression.
During my 4 years of school, I became addicted to hard drugs like cocaine.
I basically learned nothing. I'm a receptionist.
Where are you a receptionist?
I'm an esthetician, apparently.
Have you booked any esthetician jobs?
No.
Oh. I went to school for physical therapy, and now I work in IT for my dad. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let this be a lesson to you. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. School is a scam.
Do not study economics at university. This is coming from somebody not only studying an economics degree and averaging a first, but also somebody that's interned in investment banking, wealth management, and now currently at Amazon. And the reason that I picked economics at university was because I really enjoyed the A-level, and I do still think the A-level was really helpful and good. I think the key issue with economics at the degree level is that it tries to treat economics like a science. Economics is not a science. If you look at predictions of economists, just most economists, they're wrong. Literally most of the time they're wrong, because you can't treat economics like a science. You can't treat people like a science. It's an art form.
If you think the point of university is the degree itself, then you don't understand the point of university. Notice how startup founders are always saying, I'm dropping out of X university, I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. That's because university is the one place where you can find the smartest people, you build your network, you can learn skills all in one place. Firstly, it's time to build yourself, learn about yourself, learn useful skills, meet incredible people, figure out what you want to do. So if you finish university and the only thing you have left with is a degree, well, then yeah, of course it's useless, okay? University is not about an investment in a degree, it's about an investment in yourself. Yes, Mark Zuckerberg did drop out of Harvard, but he found his idea and his other founders from that environment, okay? That wouldn't have happened if he was sat in his mom's basement.
Last week, the Trump administration, through the Department of Education, refined the list of professional degrees. What was excluded from the list? Nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy, social work, teaching, public health, physician's assistants, accounting. Now, super coincidentally, all of these professions I just listed are female-dominated. We'll come back to that. So let's talk about what this means, why they say they did it, why they actually did it, and potential impacts. First of all, does the classification really matter? Yes, it does. Classification affects eligibility for federal student loan funding caps. Remember that big, beautiful bill? They increased the caps for professional degrees and they reduced the caps for non-professional degrees. Students in those non-professional degrees might struggle to get financial aid to cover their graduate programs or their advanced practice education. But is this actually going to impact people? Also, yes. Reduced enrollment in those fields, labor shortages in fields that are already experiencing critical labor shortages, more inequality, love that. Rising cost and debt for these students. If you still decide you really want to be in this field, but you can't afford it and you need extra financial aid, who do you turn to? Private loans. This is super important, so we're going to come back to this. What's their reason for doing this? The administration argues that this is about limiting excessive borrowing and preventing unsustainable student loan debt. I'm sure. So let's talk about why they're actually doing this. Like I said before, super coincidentally, these are all female-dominated professions. So for some much-needed context, we need to revisit Project 2025, conservative policy plan backed by the Heritage Foundation. Piggy, of course, said he has nothing to do with it. He's never seen it in his life, but as a reminder, these are the main authors. Coincidentally. Right? Does Project 2025 literally say women can't work anymore? No. But the policies sure seem to align with that. Things like cutting childcare support programs, weakening workplace protections for women, drastically limiting reproductive freedom. You can't escape if you're pregnant. Shifting gender policy towards traditional roles. Just get back in the kitchen, babe. All of those changes will make it harder for women, especially moms, to work and become or remain financially independent. So Piggy and his team will say, we never said that. Democrats are crazy. But this isn't about a direct command. It's about creating an environment where traditional gender roles become the only practical option. Now, earlier, I said this. This is super important, so we're gonna come back to this. Private loans. Piggy and his friends love private loans. Get rid of the possibility of government loans. The government shouldn't be lending money. That's what they'll tell you. Privatize the entire system. Fewer protections, higher interest rates, money straight into their pockets. Simultaneously, they're rolling out these 50-year mortgage loans. Low-income people, you guys can afford this. You can go to school, you can get homes. You'll just be trapped in a cycle of debt for the rest of eternity. You haven't experienced generational wealth, you're gonna experience the opposite. So this doesn't mean that nurses and social workers can no longer be nurses and social workers, and it doesn't take away their licensing. This is all about student loan classification and the funding, and how accessible these programs are to people, mostly women.
Engineering is not considered a professional degree anymore. So a lot of people are really mad because the Department of Education just put out some new rules talking about which degrees are considered professional, and some were nursing and engineering, which is crazy. And when I first saw this, I was freaking out too. I was like, how is engineering not a professional degree? How is this possible? But after doing some reading, it's not as bad as you think. I think a lot of this confusion stems from people not knowing what a professional degree actually is. So a professional degree doesn't mean that your job is smart or dumb or something. It actually just means that you need extra credentials beyond a bachelor's degree to actually do the job, an extra license. Some examples of that are like Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Dental Surgery, Doctor of Pharmacy. Well, in the context of engineering, it makes sense how we aren't professional because we don't need any of this extra stuff to actually get a job. You can get a job as an engineer with just a bachelor's degree, and no bachelor's degree in any field is considered professional. So I guess if you were to go for a master's or something like that in engineering, then this would kind of affect you and it would limit how many loans you can take out essentially. Let me know what you guys think about this and be sure to follow for more.
I think getting a master's degree is a waste of time and a waste of money. Let's talk. Okay, a lot of people reach out to me and they say like, hey, should I get my master's or should I get a JD or should I get my master's before I get my JD? In my opinion, I believe that you're just delaying the JD process, and in today's climate, do not delay it because it's only going to get harder and harder to get into law school. So if you are contemplating going to law school, just go. I went straight from undergrad straight to law school, and I'm good. I'm about to have a JD in a few months, and there's no job that I would have got if I would have got a master's. You know, like the lawyer jobs that I'm applying for and I'm qualified for don't require a master's degree. So unless you're getting a master's paid for and you just want to get your master's for networking, you know, you want to go to Ivy League, get your master's before law school, build your resume, cool, do that. But if it's not free, I just feel like you're delaying the process. And if you're doing it because you don't think you're ready for law school, in my opinion, there is never going to be a time where you're like 100% ready to go to law school. You're going to have to just rip the band-aid off and just go. It's getting harder and harder and harder to get into law school. So if you are delaying the process by going to get your master's, good luck. Guys, please do not drag me on. This is my personal opinion. I do not have a master's degree, but I will have a JD in a few months. Go big or go home. But I personally feel like it's my job to encourage people to go to law school, because when I was applying to law school, a lot of lawyers was just like, don't do it. It's going to be the worst time of your life. Just go get your master's if you can. I don't like that. I feel like if somebody can graduate law school, I can do it too. So I don't want people to be discouraged about going to law school because they're scared and, you know, people are telling them it's this big scary thing that you will regret. Law school is an investment and you can definitely do it if you want to do it. Some people have bad experience, some people have good experience. So why can't you have a good experience? Just give it a try. Like I said, this is my personal opinion. Let me know what y'all feel about master's degree and, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. Do y'all think masters are worth it or not? Bye y'all.